Hey, welcome to Alum House Sound. My name is Dave, and today we're going to jump into a Q&A. I want to start doing these live, but for right now, I've just recorded this one. I'm going to run it as a, whatever they call it, a preview or I'm going to run this thing, so I'm actually in the comment section right now. Even though this video is pre-recorded, I'm in the comment section, so if you want to chat with me, we can go ahead and chat and have a good time in the comment section, ask some questions, and obviously I can't address those live on the camera in this session, but I can respond to your comments live in the comment section. So what I want to do is go ahead and dive into the screen, and we'll take a look at some of the questions. Now, these questions are up to date, meaning I have already answered these, and we'll see my response. But I want to be able to give any additional context that might help you out along the way. So without further ado, let's jump into the screen share, and we'll be down at the bottom of the corner here. All right, so this first question here says, how long did this process take? Now this video you can see on the right, this was a studio, a recording studio that we had done at my church. We have a warehouse, and we took a corner, kind of a quarter of that, and we built a soundproof studio inside the warehouse. You can check out, there's a whole video series on it. Effectively, it's a concrete building around the outside, and what we did is we took about a foot to 18 inches off of that outside wall, and then we built interior walls so that we had an air gap between our studio and that outside wall. Then we, inside of it, we also lowered the ceiling down from the roof line about 2 feet, and it's a warehouse, so it's taller. But anyway, we built an enclosed studio that was had rock wool or rock salt insulation, 2 layers of it in the roof, in the ceiling, and then 1 layer all around all the walls. We put drywall on the outside and the inside walls, ran all the electrical, and then carpeted. And it makes for a really, really nice recording studio. I don't have a picture quickly to put up here on the screen of what it looks like now, but there is a playlist about all of that. And the total time that it took to build that was about 40 hours. I did the calculations you can see here in my reply. There was me kind of running the project and the most knowledgeable there. Then we had 2 to 3 other people depending on the night. They were willing volunteers. They're in my band at the church, and they were willing to help out with the build. So it took us, most of us were putting the kids down to bed and then coming out and working from 8:30 to 11 o'clock or 11:30 at night, a couple nights a week. So it took us about 3 weeks total to build this out, but about 40 hours total for the build. So thanks for that question. Hopefully you found that helpful. Let's go down here to the next one. We've got this question's about multi-track recording. And so this is kind of the basic video that I did of connecting a, what were we using? Tracks Live back then. Connecting Tracks Live. I think I might have done one with Presonus and or Ableton at the same time in that video. But they said, I don't understand the gain levels leaving the X32, going into the DAW. What affects the signal? Is it the channel gain settings or the fader adjustments? So that's a great question. Which one do you think it is? Put it in the comment section right now. Do you think it's the channel fader or is it the channel gain? Oh, you're cheating. You're looking at my answer. Come on now. All right, yeah, that's right. So it's the channel gain. What happens in these consoles is the signal comes in from the input and it goes into, and actually if I pull up X32 Edit really fast, and what I'm going to do is just pull up this channel. I don't even know what this is here, but if we walk through this channel strip, we have a microphone on the left, and that microphone comes into the gain. In this case, it says trim because it's on the USB side and it's not plugged into anything. Anyway, it hits that gain and then immediately goes out to the USB. That's in the default setting. There's some other settings that we could talk about, but for this one right now, it hits that gain and then it goes out to USB. That signal would then progress through the gate, your EQ and compressor settings, any inserted effects, then your mute, and then your channel fader, and that would be, say, a post fader setup, which you could select. Again, there's a fun little video I'll put down in the description down below. It's using the P16 trick, and that's a way that you can actually tap post fader going out the USB output and into a DAW, which gives you some more flexibility if that's what you want to do. But the default one, let's get back here. The default setting is going to be right after the gain. So that makes the gain really important. Some of the additional context I added here is that a lot of people will set their gain to the -18 level. That's just where we break from the green into the yellow dots if you're looking at any of the input meters on the X32. On the X32, I prefer to run hotter. I prefer to run at -12. Whoa, what? I do. I feel like this console, I feel like the compressor, the EQ, all tends to respond better when you run a little bit more input signal. It also gives me just more bandwidth to work with in terms of all of my inputs going into my sub mixes, like mix buses for monitors, maybe my live stream mix bus as well. One of the things to keep in mind, and then we'll go on to the next question, if you've watched Dave Ratt's video about the output level on the X32 and the M32, the output level is at -6 dBFS. So when we get the output level right at clipping at 0, what that equates to in the real world out here is -6 dBFS, dB full scale, which is kind of your video production and any production standard is -6. When we think about that, the console is running almost 6 dB lower than any other console. So for me, instead of running at -18, I tend to run at -12. Again, this is mostly for monitors. I find it to be really conducive for the monitors to give me a good quality signal going out to my live stream and to my monitors. So anyway, that's the short but long answer. Let's be honest, it's a long answer. Yeah, so that's the X32 tap point for the USB is at the gain. All right, next question. This one was just talking about this video. Here on the right, you can see this is the 3 ways to get audio out of your console. That's, whether you go out the USB, like we just talked about, and maybe into a video streaming software. Maybe you're going out the 1/4 inch and sending that into, say, an ATEM Mini, or you're running XLR outs. But this video talks about those 3 different methods. This guy just says, thanks. You're welcome. Let me know if you got other questions. All right, here's a good one. This one we're talking about a matrix. So this video was an original video I did many years ago, back in 2020, I believe. And that is talking about how to live stream with a matrix. It talks about starting with your front of house mix, which is a stereo bus. Because remember, you can't put inputs into a matrix on this console. I know you PreSonus people are like, but Dave, you can. All right, on this desk, you can't put inputs into a matrix. You have to put inputs into a bus, and then the buses go into a matrix. All right, so the stereo bus, whatever goes to your front of house mix, is a great starting place. We then have to usually add or append if I use my data analytics brain, but we need to add or augment, there's the music term. We need to augment that signal because our front of house, as an example, won't have maybe any drums or enough drums. It might not have enough guitars in it and band, because those are usually so loud already in the room that we're just trying to get the vocals above that in the room. Well, if we take that front of house mix, send that directly to our live stream, whether that's through a live stream or through through a matrix, we have to add back in those drums and such. So how do we do that? This video talks about adding a different bus, whether it's a mono bus or stereo bus, and adding a bus to then add in just the extra stuff that you need, drums, band, instruments, things like that, so that we can get a more proper mix and blend into that live stream mix. So that's the matrix setup. That's what I talked about in this video. And this person's saying, how do I remove the click and talkback mic from my matrix mix? So we have to think about, how did it get into the mix first? That's kind of what I started out by saying. That mic, we want to start out by making sure it's not going to your left and right mix, to your stereo bus for the front of house. You don't want click and guides going to everybody in front of house. So how do you do that? You select, let's go back to here. We're going to select the channel, and then we are going to go to left and right, and we would remove that from left and right, possibly even from your mono center channel if that's there. But the left and right on the console is, my console is down below the wing. If you look at the screen, to the left of the screen is a button that says stereo bus. If that's orange, that's kind of like this one being orange, meaning it's going to that left and right bus. If it's not orange, then you're safe. We use this for MD mics, talkback mics, things like that, and clicks and guides, where we don't want we want them coming into the desk, but we don't want those going out to the main mix. So if we've started out with that in place, now it can only go to buses. And so hopefully your monitors, let's say that Eli here in this example that we're looking at is in fact a talkback mic, then what we can do is we could select, say, bus 2, and we could turn this MD mic up there. Well, if it's going to a bus, if we go back to this discussion here, if it's going to a separate bus that's being added into your live stream mix, you just need to take that out. So you would select that bus, hit sends on fader, and mute that channel for click and mute the channel for talkback mic, and that way you don't get that in your live stream mix. I hope that's helpful. Let's move on. All right, this person is commenting on a video about how to connect audio. What is this? Oh, this is how to set up X32 Edit. So this is connecting X32 Edit, which is this software here, to your console. It's just a step-by-step of how to do it. And this guy's just thankful that we put the videos out. So, peace to you. Yeah, good on you. All right. Here we go. This is a controversial video. First off, this video says X32 flaw. Is it clickbait? It says, don't do this X32 one production killing flaw. All right. Is it clickbait? It's not clickbait because it was a software glitch or fail. And let's talk about it first. Before we talk about what I did, actually, I'll answer the question, then we'll do the content. So in this video, I mentioned how I quickly flipped from record to play to get my inputs set back properly. This person just says, can you please explain at that point in the video, what did I mean by that? So on the screen, to the right of the screen is a button that says routing. If you go to routing and then the input tab, which should be the first one that pops up usually, on the bottom right of that, there's a quick knob that you can turn, and you can have two different settings, two different default settings. One for record, which is where it's going to be your inputs coming into the console. That's usually going to be your local inputs. Maybe it's AES 50 inputs that you're coming from a stage box, but that would be the record side. And then if you flip and you switch to play, that is, now that you've done recording, now you're going to play stuff back to the console, and that's usually defaults to the card inputs on the console. So having those set up, I could quickly go in and flip from record to play, which flipped my inputs from something I didn't want back to the normal ones. Now, let's just talk about why this was a flaw and why I still feel confident in keeping this video up, because there's a lot of people that say, bro, you just messed up. What happened was I stopped recording in my DAW and then I closed the DAW and my inputs flipped from record to play, meaning they flipped from my live environment over to coming from the DAW. And this would make sense if I had the M32 with the XLive card, because there are settings in the XLive card that you can have it automatically flip when you're doing recording to the SD card or to USB, but you can quickly flip from recording to playing, and it does it automatic. The setting is called automatic, and that is based on the XLive card, and it's built into the software. I have the X32 with the regular XUSB card on it, and we don't have those settings. I have no way to change those settings to be automatic or to be not adjusted. I just realized I have the sunshine shining right on my face. That's annoying. Can I get out of, there we go. That's better. Anyway, so we don't have that set up in the XLive card on the console I was running. In fact, my Wing is the only desk that has the XLive card built into it with SD recording capabilities. All of my other ones are just regular XUSB. So that's why I am completely still puzzled at how I could turn off the DAW and have that impact my X32 because I don't have those settings built in. Anyway, off my soapbox, that's my rant. That's why I leave that video up. And if nothing else, learn from my mistake of not changing anything until after your gig or your event or your performance is complete. Next video. All right, we're going to hit maybe 4 more questions. And again, this is a premiere. That's the word that I was looking for earlier. This is a video premiere, meaning I am in the comment section right now. So this is not a live video, but I am in the comment section. So if you have questions, go ahead and drop those down in the comment section now in the live chat, and I can twinkle my fingers and answer any questions that you've got. So hopefully that's helpful. And let me know, is this helpful right now? Adding additional context to these questions that come through, is this helpful for you? Because again, I do want to move to doing these live. I've finally got my camera set up and the capability. I've got a little ATEM set up as well. And so I feel confident that I've got a good enough rig now that I can actually do this live and handle these live. And maybe that'll be beneficial for you guys because you can come in, you can ask questions live, and we can just kind of get to them and help out the broader community. All right. Next question here. This video on the right, we see this is how to set up X32 USB output for live stream. This video was really the spark of this this audio channel. My channel used to be, the reason it's called Alum House is because it was everything that we did at my house. So it may be racing bikes, it might be working on cars, installing solar panels, it might be stuff that the kids were doing, and it also had audio stuff in it. I posted this video, which was a response to a Facebook comment, which if you're on Facebook and you're in any of the church sound media stuff, I'm in there, and some of the X32 forums as well, or groups, and I answer questions in there when I can. So you can find me in there. Please don't barrage me on my personal Facebook because I try to keep the audio stuff in the audio world and then my personal stuff on my personal Facebook. That being said, I put this video together, posted it as a response, and immediately it had like 9,000 views in just a couple weeks. And I thought, there's some appetite for this. People are trying to figure out, this was right in 2020, right during the COVID shutdown. This is when people were all trying to figure out how to get their console. Man, this sunlight. All right, now I got to move over here now. All right, anyway, don't sit back. Sit up closer to the camera. There we go. I got windows over there, and it's getting me in the eyeballs. So COVID shut down, and I went in and I was answered this question, realized that people were trying to figure out how to get audio from their console into a live stream. This video was great when we first put it out because the context was that there was nobody in the room. So how do you quickly get your mix that you can then dial in the room and then send it out to the live stream just as a bare bones mix. And that's what this video covers. It is not my recommended way to do it. I personally still run a post-fader mix bus setup, which I'll put that video down in the comment section below, because I still stand by that as being the best way to run a live stream mix when you only have one sound engineer. Matrix is good if you've got the buses to do it. We run a lot of buses for our monitors, so I kind of don't have all that flexibility. But anyway, what does this person say? Are you able to do a video showing what to expect on the pages below the screen when you're using an ATEM and studio mode in OBS? That's a great question. I'm actually recording in OBS right now, so I'm gonna have to make that a video that's separate, but you should, with the ATEM plugged in, let's see here, you're gonna go USB-C out of the ATEM and into your, into the computer. And so it should show up as Blackmagic Design for both audio and video. So you can go into your studio mode and add, I was just looking to see if I can pull up. It's not going to make sense because well, let's see if I can do it right now. I've got OBS recording. This is just going to look weird because anyway. So I don't run it here. If I put it in studio mode, that's studio mode, okay? And this is the scene that I'm running on, which I have a lot of different options depending on what I'm doing. And I don't have the Blackmagic plugged in right now, which is even weirder for this example. But you can come down, you can go like this, and you could click Blackmagic device if it was plugged in. I could do that. That would be my video input. And then the next one I would do is go up and do audio input capture. If I do that, you can see that in my existing ones, I've changed the name, but BMD, Blackmagic Device Audio. You can do that. That would then give you an audio thing like you see here for my built-in mic. You would have one that shows up usually for the video source that's not going to do anything. You have a second one that you're going to set up for the audio source, and that's what you would see. Also make sure that you don't have, you might have like a default. If you're on Windows, you're probably going to have one that says default, and just go like this and make sure it's muted. Click this button here. And that would make sure that it's muted and not coming through the mic from the laptop or computer. And if you're on Windows or Mac, I don't think you get one on Mac, but hopefully that's helpful. I'll try to make a full video because I can actually plug my stuff in and show you exactly what that looks like. All right, away from OBS and back over to the questions. All right, this will be our last question. So again, let me know in the comments section if you like this format of just going through the questions. We can do it live where we go through a handful of questions first that are in my comment section, and then we can attend to any questions that you guys have in the comment section. Maybe that's helpful for you, but let me know down in the comment section. I'm happy to do it if it's going to be beneficial. I don't want to waste time, my time or your time, if it's not going to be beneficial. Also, if you need help with anything, if you've got like this burning question where you're like, all the videos are great, but they don't answer my one specific question, ask in the comments. I'm always in the comment section, but if you need further help, we can do one-on-one session. We can use Zoom or Teams or whatever you need, but usually I use Zoom, and we can just connect. And to do that, you would go to Alum House or go to the website. That link is in the description as well. It's sound.alumhouse.com, and there you can find the contact card. Fill out the contact card. That comes directly to me, and we can start a conversation outside of YouTube, get you any help that you need there. All right. Also, I'm live right now. The video is pre-recorded, but it's a premiere, so I'm in the comment section right now. If you haven't taken an opportunity to and you've got a question, jot that into the comment section right now. I can answer your question right now immediately. All that said, we're going to dive into the last question for this pre-recorded video, and that is this one. So again, we've got a Matrix Mix live stream, and this was a second setup. This was where I was walking through the entire setup. I tried it a second time in my live venue. It still didn't work out for me, which I talk about in this video, mostly because of audio coming back in from my ProPresenter machine into my laptop, which has to run through my house. And because I didn't have all the buses and I had to use my stereo bus, that's not a good option for me, because then it goes from ProPresenter to my console and then back to the live stream, which doubles up, and that's not good. But let's see what the questions are here. Question 1, why use 2 mixes, your front of house mix and stream, to send to the Matrix? Now, we talked about that a little bit previously, in the fact that that I was starting with the front of house mix, and then I needed to supplement or augment that and add to it with additional information like my drums, maybe my bass or my guitars, because they're so loud in the room that I don't need those in my front of house mix. So because of that, when I send that front of house mix from the stereo bus into the Matrix, then I end up having to add those instruments back in using a separate bus. So what I'm not doing is building a bus that's a live stream mix and then a front of house mix and combining the two. That's not what I'm doing. I'm starting with the front of house mix and then adding in a bus that's just additional input that I need to craft and build that good blended mix for the live stream. It does seem backwards. That's why I don't do it. I just start with a bus personally, but hopefully that answers question number 1 here. Let's look at question number 2. Is your mix bus, the stream bus, converted to a Matrix? This is a much more involved question. In this video, no is the answer. In this video here, talking about my live stream through a Matrix, that is just a supplemental bus that's going into the Matrix to support my stereo mix and then build a nice blend for the live stream. All right, let's back up a couple steps and keep my eyeballs out of that sunshine. Man, that is right in my retina. In my personal mix, which I mentioned earlier, I still use a post-fader mix bus, and I live and stand behind that right now for what we do every week at my church. And most places that I'm going to go and mix, I still do that. Now, I want to use the nice compressors that are built into the X32. I also prefer to use the limiter. I like having that tool, that feature on my bus mix before it goes out to my live stream. Helps me get a more controlled, kind of compact broadcast mix, and multiple levels of compression tend to do better than just one compressor, because you can hear that squashing. Anyway, I want to avoid that. So because of that, I'll post this video down in the comments as well. It's a video where I talk about how I use a mix bus and a Matrix, and I'm holding the word mix bus and Matrix in the thumbnail. For my live stream, I go build my post-fader mix into a stereo mix bus. On that mix bus, I use basic compression, I use EQ on the channel strip, and then I insert the 1176 emulation. And then I send that post-fader into Matrix 1 and 2, a stereo matrix. Why? Because I need more room to be able to add the limiter, and I can't insert 2 effects on this desk. So what I need to do is take that, stereo mix bus, which is using the channel strip and has an inserted effect, and because I can't insert a second effect, like on a DAW or on the wing, what I need to do is send that to a matrix pair, which then allows me to use further EQing or compression on that channel strip, which I don't use, but I'm just inserting the limiter there. And then that signal is what goes out to my live stream. So it's kind of trying to use as much of the board as I can and not use a DAW, because it's just not conducive in my normal weekly setup to use a DAW. We are a setup and tear down church. We have 5 different sound technicians. We've got 44 people on our team, and that's a church of about 350 to maybe 400 people right now. So we serve once a month is the culture at our church, and we have enough technology challenges right now. We don't want to add in the DAW. We want the sound technician to move a fader up or down. That changes for both the house and the stream, and then we're happy. All right, so listen, I hope that this time has been beneficial. Hopefully, if you're in the comment section watching this video live as the premiere, you've been able to jot your questions down in the comment section, and I've been able to answer in that live chat. The live chat, I don't know if it's available later on, but that being said, if you found this helpful, let me know that down in the comments, because again, I want to do these live. I'd like to do these, maybe twice a month, maybe 3 times a month, maybe even weekly if there's enough need for it. But I finally got my gear and my rig set up in this stuff, and I want to get you guys the help that you need. As I mentioned before, if you have dying questions that you need to get answered about your specific setup and the videos that we have don't get you there, you can use the link in the description to get to my website, sound.allamhouse.com. You can go there, fill out the contact card. That's how we can start a conversation outside of YouTube. If you ask a question in the comment section, as we saw, I'm answering all of those. So that's another way to get me. But if you want help outside of YouTube, go to that website and that'll get you there. All right, that's it for this video. Thanks so much for watching. Thanks so much for checking this out. We'll catch you all in the next video. But of course, on the YouTube world, make sure to hit the like button, the subscribe button, and share this video with other people on your team or that you think would benefit from the information. That's it. Peace.